Joe Biden is challenged. We saw evidence of the challenge in France, of course, with his move that's now become an internet meme sensation. In fact, people are now doing the Biden after this thing made the rounds. Now, in fairness, he was trying to sit down, but it takes him a while. I want you to watch the whole thing, okay? So he's like, well, do I get to sit? Do I get to sit? We're all looking at it going, oh my gosh, is there a chair? Is there? It keeps going. Can you keep playing it? There we go. We're going to keep playing it because he's going up and down. He's going, finally, he sits down. He just, was a little ahead of the curve in that situation. Well, everybody had a good time looking at that. In fairness to him, it was not great because some people cut it and they didn't actually show that there was a chair or that he actually eventually sat down. So he just looked like he was having a senior moment, which I still think he kind of was. And now it's become a thing. There's this thing called Do the Biden. Can you do the Biden? Check out these ladies. Now, we had to take out the music because YouTube's really strict about the music and everything. And in fairness, it's not quite as funny, but they play this great like polka music. And there's all these ladies going, ooh, can we do this little squat? Let's try. Let's do the Biden. He's actually created a whole new move. So if nothing else, Joe, we have that to thank you for. Inflation and a do the Biden squat. Time for your squats, ladies. Time to do the Biden. If you go to my shorts feed, we're going to play it with the music so you'll see it and be able to appreciate it in its full way. Biden's struggling. Seriously struggling. On top of that, it comes on the heels of this clip that I wanted to show you the other day. I call this dazed and confused. You see, he was out there touting his economic plan for America when all of a sudden he started getting a lot of questions. He couldn't seem to handle it.
I have a lot of questions. I better not start the questions. I'll get in trouble.
What's your message for Super Tuesday voters? Everyone please move this way. Super Tuesday, sir, do you have a message for voters?
Thanks, come on.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
That's kind of scary stuff, right? I mean, in all seriousness, I know we joke about it and do the Biden and this, that, and the other, but that's alarming. I mean, that actually has me very concerned about him. This was happening days before the State of the Union. And of course, we saw a very different Biden in the State of the Union, which is one of the reasons why the former president, Donald Trump, is insisting that there be some kind of screening process, right, ahead of that event, the debate that's upcoming, because that doesn't really coincide with the Biden that we saw at the State of the Union. Really, really tough stuff to see. And I actually am somewhat worried about him. There's a concern that they're really just propping him up and they're keeping him up there because they have to. Because what is the alternative? I would say this, you know what, if the Democrats were smart, and that's a big if, they would have figured this out long ago. I mean, I get it. It's hard. I've talked about this before, like you get the elder parents and it's time to take away the car keys and they really don't want to give up those car keys, even though they're really not sure where the gas is and the brake is in the car anymore, right? They're starting to get confused and they're at an age when they need to have the car keys taken away, but they won't give them up and they get even more and more and more stubborn. I mean, this is a common experience that I think a lot of Americans with elder parents and elder loved ones go through. And as we look at Joe Biden right now, he kind of feels like that elder person who needs to have the car keys taken away. But he won't surrender. He just won't surrender, no matter what happens. I mean, they're convicting his son. He doesn't know what day it is. He's getting lost. He's falling. I mean, he has to wear special shoes, right? So that they hope that he doesn't fall anymore. This is not good. And Nate Silver put it well. So Nate Silver, 538, he tracks every poll day in and day out. And he tweeted this. And, this is the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. That this guy can't really win. He's got the lowest approval rating of any president in modern history, 37.4%. Dropping out, Nate Silver writes, would be a big risk, but there's some threshold below which continuing to run is a bigger risk. I like this. This is like a math problem. Are we there yet? He writes, I don't know, but it's more than fair to ask. You got to ask this question. Is it risk? I mean, I said a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, you can't run them. I mean, look, if the Democrats would listen to the other side for once, they might actually get some worthwhile information. I said it all along, you can't run them. I actually recommended they run Gavin. I know that we don't like Gavin Newsom very much, and San Francisco is a disaster and he'd be bad for the country. But you know what? He would have looked good up there. He would have seemed like a young spring chicken compared to Joe Biden. And even if you compared him with Trump, he would have at least had the youth thing on his side, right? And so people would have been like, oh, hope, whatever. He doesn't, they're not doing that. I mean, they're not doing it. So they are stuck with Kamala Harris, who would be president. I mean, let's just be honest and realistic about things, and Joe Biden. And so it's really sad stuff to see. I'm glad you guys like the orange. I'm looking at your commentary here. Have you subscribed? Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't, subscribe and hit that bell. Hit the bell so that you know when I'm here. I just tried putting a community post out today to let you know that I was here for the live show. I'll try and be better about doing that so you guys at least get the word. But you can do your part by hitting the bell and subscribing, liking, making a comment. If you're watching this in real time, even so, make a comment underneath. It helps. It every bit helps. And you know what? I read them.